US President Donald Trump is expected to use Tuesday's State of the Union address to champion his immigration crackdowns, slashing of the federal government, and his push to preserve widespread tariffs. The traditional address to Congress comes at a fraught moment for Trump's presidency, with his approval ratings slumping, anxieties rising over Iran, and Americans struggling with the cost of living as the November midterm election nears. But it offers Trump a chance to persuade voters to keep Republicans in power. Well, for more on this story, we can say hello to our international affairs editor, Angela Diffley.
Hi, Karis.
Angela, let's first take a look at Trump's domestic record, what's happened in the past year, and what might he say?
Yeah, you mentioned there how he is sinking in the polls. Very important, of course, midterms coming up, as you mentioned, this year in November. If the House is lost to the Democrats, as it seems likely looking at polls at the moment, then there is a possibility that Trump could be impeached again. He will want to avoid that. So he will try today to persuade people of the successes of this first year. You know, we all know how gifted he is at exaggerating. He will boast of his successes, and there are some clear wins in terms of pleasing his MAGA base, at least. The border with Mexico is pretty much sealed now. There is no longer a major problem of chaotic illegal immigration as there was for much of the Biden term there. That has been more or less fixed. Another issue, the issue of transgender rights, that will please his MAGA base. They have rolled back a lot of that, and that will certainly please his MAGA base. Beyond that, it is a lot more messy. First of all, tariffs, which we saw that has created significant problems for American businesses who now are wondering whether they will get their money back after the Supreme Court last week ruled that Trump's use of those tariffs in that way was not legal. The use of ICE, the enforcement force to enforce illegal immigration laws was a disaster, leading to the death of two what looked like entirely innocent Americans. That has not gone down well with the American public, including Republicans, and including Republicans who favored this policy. It was simply badly executed, clumsy and cruel in too many people's eyes. Another area where he is not in a very comfortable situation is the Epstein affair. Again, he continued more so in his first term, his first campaign, the idea of drain the swamp. But that remained a theme. You know, I'm for the little guy. I'm not with all this Washington elite. A lot of voters voted for him because of that. And there will be continued fallout from the Epstein files. Notably, of course, at the moment, any prosecutions are only happening in Europe and notably Britain. There have been no prosecutions apart from Ghislaine Maxwell in the United States. But this thing will continue to create problems for him. And until now, he has had very little pushback from, for example, Congress. Once the primaries are out of the way and congressmen and women are less fearful of not getting an endorsement from Donald Trump, they are likely to flex a little more, be less supine, push back a little more. And we've already seen that he executed, virtual U-turns on those three big things. The tariffs, he has been forced to completely reconsider after the Supreme Court stood up to him. On ICE, after what was pretty much a civilian resistance to it, he has had to reconsider and pull out the ICE officers. And on Epstein, he was forced to release files, even though initially he didn't want to. So he's in a much less comfortable position than he would like to be giving this State of Union speech.
Well, Trump came to power, of course, on a pledge not to engage in forever wars, to put American interests first. Do people in the US like his foreign policy moves so far?
60% of Americans apparently disapprove of the way he's conducting foreign policy. He will no doubt flag up what he considers to be significant wins. He can claim significant credit for getting a ceasefire in Gaza. That is something he will definitely talk about. Equally, he sees capturing Nicolas Maduro as a clear win. It could lead to oil investments for the United States. It could be a positive thing on the whole for the United States and has certainly contributed to stemming the major drug trafficking problem in all of that region. He can claim credit as well for forcing European NATO members to up their spending on NATO. After that, again, it looks very messy. In Mexico, the Caribbean, that's a mixed situation. He has alienated many Europeans, but again, that's not necessarily something that Americans in their day-to-day life would worry about. What they will be worrying about is Iran, because it does look as if this could lead to a full-scale war. It's possible. Thursday, there will either be a deal or Trump will be forced to do something. Having amassed this huge armada in the area, he will have to act if the Iranians do not blink, and they do not seem to be blinking. And then he has never really made clear to the United States public what this war in Iran is about. Is it about disabling their nuclear program? Last June he told them it had already been obliterated. Is it about disabling their ballistic missiles? They can't reach the United States. So again, that's something Americans might shrug their shoulders about. Or is it about toppling the Iranian regime while it's at its weakest? If this ends up with body bags and American soldiers as casualties, that will not go down with his MAGA base. He pledged above all to put America first and to have no forever wars. If he's lucky and either a deal is made, then all credit to him. His idea of maximum threat will have worked. But if he's not lucky and this thing goes wrong, not just the MAGA base, but many Americans will feel that was not what they voted for.
All right, Angela Diffley, thank you very much for that analysis. And